People, I made it home. I made it home safely. Oh my God. I should not have stepped out of this apartment today. Those roads are just too slick, and those sidewalks are covered in, it looks like snow, but it's ice. I I was so fearful I'd fall and hurt myself. I really was. I can't do this. I can't. Oh my God. I can't keep doing this to myself.
Hey everybody, it's Deanna, and this is my first video, long form video of 2026. This was not planned. I'm burned out. I am so burned out. And today was a reminder of how I push myself too damn much, and I need to slow down. So, Sunday we had snow, and that was, I believe, the first snow of the year, but not the first snow of the season. And they were expecting a lot, and they were telling people to stay off the road, stay home, etc., etc., which I was willing to do, and I did. And my office was closed, and they told people to work from home from Monday through Wednesday. Monday is my usual in-office day, but Tuesday and Wednesday are my at-home days. So I easily did those 3 days at home. And I did not see any notification that the office would be closed today, Thursday, January 29th, 2026. And my boss had asked me via Teams if I was able to come in. And instead of saying no, I said, I'm not sure. So I logged in this morning to check and make sure there are no messages about a snow closure. And most of public transportation was starting to run again. But I regret leaving the house. And then I was saying that if I think it's too bad to commute, I'm going to turn around and go back home. But because I'm stubborn and I was outside, I stuck with it. Now they cleared up the sidewalks on the property of my apartment complex, fine. But beyond that, it was horrible. And what's usually a sidewalk was a big old mountain of ice that looked like snow. It looks like what happened was that the snow had melted a little and had gotten frozen, and it looks like a very smooth slab of ice. And I'd seen footholds in this snow / ice, and I'm doing this, matching my feet to the footholds that I saw. And then when I got close to clear sidewalk, there was a slick patch of ice. And I was so afraid I'd fall. So I saw I could walk through the parking lot, and I safely got on sidewalk. But then I saw that the sidewalk further up the street was covered in mountains of this snow and ice. So I walked in the street, which is easier than walking on those patches of snow and ice and those mountains, but it's not safe because of drivers. And what usually takes me about 2 minutes to get to the bus stop took me about maybe close to 10 minutes. And by the time I got to the bus stop, the bus was coming, and I'm thinking, thank the universe that I don't have to step onto this icy patch of sidewalk. And I did this, and he stopped for me in the middle of the street, right in front of where the bus stop was. But instead of waiting for me to sit down, he was driving, and I fall back like this, and I grabbed the pole immediately. And there's a woman, she's sitting there, she was like this. I'm thinking, what's this heifer gonna do? She's not sitting near me. Lord have mercy. Anyway, so I'm holding the pole, tilting back a little. And as soon as I felt steady, I made it to a seat. And I felt that even though my new winter boots have traction, I felt that my left boot seemed slippery. Like I felt like my foot, it just seemed slippery under my boot. And I hope that was not a preview of what was to come. But I had told myself I'm not, because normally there's some bus stop. This bus I took, I had to go to a train station, stay on for a few stops, and then transfer to a bus. And then sometimes when I take that way, I will walk from the final train station. Normally I walk from the train station in, but I told myself in my previous video, I did mention I'm not going to walk like that if there's snow and ice. I'm not doing that. And I'd rather be late than be on time, slipping on, risking slipping on ice, trying to rush to get to work. I'd rather be late. I refuse. So when I got to when the bus stopped at the train station, I walked slowly. So I walked slowly through the train station. I had to wait 9 minutes for the next train. And I knew I was already going to be late. There's nothing I could do. I was not going to rush. The train comes, and it was slow at a point, but it got to my final destination. And the bus was there right after I exited. And I again, took my time. I'm not going to rush and break my neck for a bus. I'm not doing that. And then the bus gets to my stop. And normally I take the back door, but because there's so much snow and ice, I took the front door. And I said, thank you to the driver. And she said, mm-hmm. Sometimes I get ones that are really friendly. I get the other ones who don't want to be bothered. What can you do? So the sidewalk that led up to my job was clear, but there were mounds of snow and ice I had to navigate around to get there. And there's a grate near my job, and I hate walking on grates because I always felt like I want to fall through them. But the sidewalk next to the grate was blocked with snow and ice, and I am not. I'd rather risk falling through the grate than slipping on snow and ice. And I made it to the job. And I took my time to take all my winter gear off, switch out my winter boots into a pair of sneakers. I turned my space heater on, and I had my headphones on. They're all so perky and happy. I never understood that. How can you all be so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed? And I'm just like, oh God, I want to be in bed. How are they so happy? I don't get it. I don't get it. So I switched off the rap music, and I started listening to one of Dr. Kamani's recent interviews, and someone comes up and starts chatting with me. And I was like, Mrs. Hernandez from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Don't let the title of that show fool you. It's an excellent show. And there was a character, Mrs. Hernandez, who would appear to be smiling and nodding and listening, when in reality, outside Rebecca's view, Mrs. Hernandez was a proud bitch. Mrs. Hernandez would tell people they'd suck. She would be sarcastic. She was snippy. She was rude, and she did parkour too. Mrs. Hernandez was also badass. Yeah, that show is really good. If you can find it somewhere, I recommend it. But yeah, that's how I was right at that moment. This one just talking and talking to me, and I'm not in the mood to talk, but I'm smiling and nodding, and I'm not really listening to everything she's saying. She's asking me 11 questions, and she's very chatty. And I'm not a chatty person. I've mentioned in a previous video how I feel like talkers, they're like moths to a flame. They gravitate towards me. And I just want to be left alone. And so she finally, finished talking to me and went on her way, and I got to work, and I'm The customers can be too much. I'll leave it at that. The customers can be too much. They can be a handful. And I'm getting frustrated. And I'm grumbling under my breath about them. My goodness gracious. And I found myself making careless mistakes like that. This is the only job I've had where I make careless mistakes. I'm constantly making mistakes because it's just the workload is so, it's too much. It's too much. And it's so easy to feel rushed and try to do 50, 11 things at once. And then these things fall through the cracks. But I was getting through the day. Grumbling and cold and wanting to be at home, but I was getting through the day and listening to different interviews, like Dr. Kimani's interview that I listened to today, and I listened to a few Alicia Renice's videos today. And she said some things I do want to bring up later in this video, which hit a nerve with me. Anyway, but near the end of the day, I'm getting frustrated because I'm trying to enter my password. I keep saying incorrect, please try again. And I did slowly. And I remember the key, I have a keyboard at the office. It has sticky keys. I think that's the reason why it rejects the password at the time, because the keys are sticky and it may not always register where I'm typing. I had to enter it 5 times before finding words. And at this point, it's 5 o'clock. I had my headphones on. I had my Hairbrella infinity scarf on. I put my winter boots back on. I was getting ready to go. And then the chatty woman comes back. And she starts saying, Deanna, why are you still here? And I, for the first time at a job, in the nearly 30 years I've worked since I was 15, not counting the times I was unemployed. I told somebody who was talking, instead of pretending to listen, I said, I'm not in the right headspace to talk right now. And I know that's not going to go over well, because, and this came up in Dr. Kamani's video earlier today. Black women are policed a lot more. Tone, how we speak, what we say. We are policed. Anything we say is misconstrued as being rude, snappy. And white people are very sensitive. White people do not like feeling slighted. But I just got tired of pretending and masking and doing all these things to get through the day. And I wanted to use that little energy I had left for myself. So I said, ma'am, I'm not in the right headspace to talk right now. She said, well, I don't know. I just want, make sure you get on time. I said, I'm trying to do that, ma'am. And even though I know it may come to bite me in the behind in the future, I had to set that boundary for myself. I can't deal with people who want to use me as a sounding board. That's not my purpose in life. And I got out. I left for the day. And getting through to the bus stop, because as I said, I'm not walking any further than to the nearest bus stop. These sidewalks are too much. Earlier, when I was on the bus this morning, I had seen some white woman. She was carrying a laptop without a laptop bag, a box of Dunkin' Donuts, her looked like her iced coffee. You put regular coffee outside, it would turn into iced coffee immediately in this weather shoot. And she's wearing Nike sneakers instead of winter boots. And she's trying to carry this stuff. She's sipping on her iced coffee. And she's trying to step on these mountains of ice and snow in these non-winter boots. And I'm thinking, this woman better not fall on this ice with that box of donuts and that laptop. But anyway, I digress. What was I about to say? Yeah. It was, what's usually an easy walk was a trek.
I hate walking over these grates, but the sidewalk where I usually walk on is covered in snow and ice, and I'm not trying to slip over that. I'd rather take my chance and risk falling through the grate versus walking over that snow and ice. Mm-mm-mm. Now the sidewalk is clear. I think someone's about to come. Let me pause this for a moment. Okay. There's a narrow path on the sidewalk, but there's a big old clump right where I did across the street. So I'm going to have to get into the street and walk through the street so I can safely cross the street. But then I have to deal with cars. These people drive like chumps. And I'm not trying to get hit by a car, but I'm trying to cross the street and avoid ice and snow. This is bunk. Now these boots look like they had good traction. This is my first time wearing them. I ordered them a few months back. Yeah, about a few months back. But this is my first time getting to wear them. Because when they were delivered, they're delivered after I left out that day and I decided to wear an old raggedy pair of boots. But yeah. See, normally I would cross here, but the path is covered in snow. It's a big old wall of snow, so I'm gonna have to walk in the street to get around it. Lord have mercy. Some bunk. I'm gonna step here so I don't get hit by a car. Lord. Okay, light change, please. I can cross the street. Okay, it's about to change right now. Okay. Whoa. Normally, I can walk up the street to get to the train and catch a bus from the train station. I'm not doing that. Oh God, so slippery over here.
Luckily, the bus came maybe about a minute after I got to the bus stop. And I had to, there's a guy standing. I thought he was waiting across the street. I couldn't tell what he was doing. And I said, "Sir, are you waiting for this bus?" And then it took him a second to realize I was talking to him. I said, "Are you waiting for this bus?" He said, "Oh, no, no, no." And he almost slipped, trying to give me some space to get out to the stop. And I said, "Careful." He was okay. He was okay. And I got on the bus, and I just don't want to really, I don't want to interact with anybody. I didn't sit. People were trying to clear their seats for me. I stood. I had my bags, laptop bag, purse, the tote with my lunch bag and my sneakers in it, and I'm holding the pole. No, I was holding the strap. I didn't want to be around people. But when I take public transportation, I have to deal with it. So the bus gets to my transfer point, and I made it off safely. And the bus I transferred to luckily came right when I was getting off the bus and walking towards the stop. And he let us on. He said, "Oh, no, 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 I don't want you waiting out in the cold. Thank you, I appreciate that." Yeah. And I didn't realize he was going to take a snow detour. I should have. Because when it drove up the street, I saw these sidewalks covered in that icy snow. My God, I saw some woman, she looked like she was on a balance beam. She was like, and she almost slipped, but she caught herself. Oh my God. So normally it goes to a residential neighborhood, but I guess it's bogged down with snow, and he ended up getting on the highway instead. And then it skipped the stop that I would have gotten off at, and I would have transferred to a different bus to go home, so I don't have to walk. But he ended up going to a stop near a shopping area. And I figured my original plan was to go home and get an Instacart order. But I said, I'm near a store, I might as well. But what usually is about a 5 to 10 minute walk, it took twice as long. The usual crosswalk was covered in a big amount of snow. So I had to maneuver and find a way to safely cross the street. And then I got to a part where the sidewalk was very clear. I could walk easily, no problem. But then another crosswalk or an intersection, there's a big old mountain of snow.
This big old mountain of snow and ice is blocking the crosswalk. This is ridiculous. I want to walk into the street because I'm not trying to climb Mount Everest to get from point A to point B.
I said I'm not climbing Mount Everest. And I had to get out in the street. And they had to look out for cars. The street is clearer than the sidewalk because when they're doing this snow clearing, they're more concerned about drivers than pedestrians. So I had to stand in the street, wait for the cars to clear because I'm taking my time. I'm not rushing. I'm not going through all this. And then as soon as it's safe, I maneuvered around the big old mountain of snow and then got back on the sidewalk. And then this woman, like she was coming past me, so I stopped because I wanted her to just keep going past me. I didn't want her so close to me. And she said, I'm sorry. And then it was like she was waiting for me to come by here. I said, ma'am, go. Ma'am, go. Just go. And she's like, oh. And people say, oh, you're rude, you're mean. No, I'm burned out. I'm tired. I do too much. And I made it to the store. And I would say it had 85% of what I needed. The things I really needed, I could not find fresh mushrooms, so I had to get canned mushrooms. And they did not have any eggs. I can go without eggs for maybe about another week. But I do need eggs soon. I heard someone say that, someone who worked there say that eggs would be restocked tomorrow, but I'm not, I did all my shopping today, so I'm going to have to wait another day. And what else? It's just the wraps. I've been getting the Mission Carb Balanced Spinach wraps because I need something that has low carbs and no sugar, but they barely had any wraps. I found plant protein, a keto wrap, so that's safe for my diet. So I got that. It's like the pickings were slim in some parts. What was I saying? So after walking around, one of the store workers, he said, because I had a basket. I always think I'm just gonna get a few things, and a few things turns into too many things. He said, oh man, I see that. I have a free card. Do you need it? I said, oh yes, please. Yes, please. And I was going towards it, but he brought it to me. He even took the basket from me and put it in the cart. Very appreciative of that. Wish I got his name. Because there aren't too often employees who go the extra mile like that. I really appreciated that. And I'm getting whatever I could find. And I finally checked out. And that's another thing. I had a grocery tote, but I was using it for my lunch bag and my sneakers. So I ended up having to buy more grocery totes. And here I go again, carrying too many things. Now I've got 4 grocery totes, the one with my sneakers and lunch bag, and the 3 with the groceries, and now my laptop bag and my purse. And I have what's left of my sanity, which is like this thin at this point, this tiny at this point. And I was walking very slowly, knowing good and well I can't walk my normal pace. I'm too far down, and these sidewalks are hit or miss. And I started singing Oingo Boingo's Stay. And I'm staring off in space. This is not the first time you had to get away. This is not a party where people know your name. This is not a classroom with teacher at the board. This is not a catch-all with prizes at the door, etc., etc. I'm not trying to get a copyright strike, even though I'm not the best singer. And this guy with his kid, and the kid is running because kids don't have any good sense, and they don't understand that there are patches of snow and ice on the sidewalk, so they need to be careful. Um, but I think the kid thought I was bugging out. Yes, I was bugging out. So I'm getting closer to the bus stop. And what normally would have been, I usually take shortcuts when I'm in this out this way. But I couldn't take the shortcuts because the shortcuts were blocked with snow and ice. So I'm on the street again, and I'm thinking I can walk, and I thought there'd be, the sidewalk was safe. But there's a point right before I get to the bus stop where there's a patch of ice. I think, dang. So I go back, thinking I can go through a parking lot, and then walk through the parking lot, and then walk back to the bus stop. Nope. There are big old mountains of snow and ice. Finally, third time, I had to go back to where I came from, go on the street, and luckily the bus came maybe a minute after I got there. Thank the universe. And then it comes, I board, and there's this older woman who boarded. And first she sticks her finger in her mouth, and she's licking her finger or sucking her finger. And then she took a piece of her hair. That's a shorter piece. She took a piece of her hair and she put it in her mouth, and she starts chewing on it. I'm not chewing on my hair, folks. My hair is like right from my face. I'm not chewing on my hair. So I'm looking at her like, I said guacala, which means yuck. Ooh, why are you chewing on your hair? And I said it in English at first. I said, why is this woman chewing on her hair? When I said in Spanish, ella come su cabello, she's eating her hair. She stopped. She spread it out, and she started tapping on her thigh, like she was like it was a nervous habit. She needed to chew her hair. Maybe about a year or so after I moved to the DC area, I saw a woman on Metro. Either the Metro or the bus. She took a strand of her hair, plucked out of her head, and she used it as floss. I don't know what it is about people putting taking their hair and either eating it or using it as floss. I don't know. People are strange. So the bus gets to my stop, and I again take the front exit, and the driver lowered the bus for me. Thank the universe, because it's easier with all these daggone bags I'm carrying. I'm walking in the street because the sidewalk is just not safe. I'm singing this song. I make up random songs all the time. Please don't let me get hit by a car. And I started singing about how people are a-holes. I said the actual word. And how they drive like a-holes. Yeah, I'm bugging out, folks. I'm stressed. And I finally make it to the sidewalk. But there's no safe way for me to get to my apartment. So I had to keep walking. Then I walked to one of the driveways that leads to the parking lot for my apartment. Why is my Fitbit buzzing? I've been standing still. It's giving me the 10,000 steps buzz. Anyway, what was I saying? So I walk all the way past my apartment, get to the driveway of one of the parking lots in front of the complex. I walk through that. I try to see, so I have too many bags. I can't squeeze through the cars. I found a spot, and it looked somewhat safe. I'm doing the slow, cautious steps. And finally, I found a sidewalk that was safe to walk on and safe for me to get to my space. But I tell you, I can't do that anymore. I can't do that anymore. It became what's normally a decent walk in nice weather feels like an obstacle course in winter. And not only, it's like I was mentioning earlier, the woman looked like she was on a balance beam. I realized the Winter Olympics are coming up, but this is not what they meant. It was not what they meant. I'm not trying to compete in the slip and fall on my behind Olympics in winter. Lord have mercy. I am not trying to do that. And when I got home, I texted my boss and let her know I'm working from home again tomorrow. I cannot do that again. I don't want to leave back out until these roads are safe. These sidewalks are safe. And I feel like a lot of these places, dropped the ball in clearing up the streets and the sidewalks. I've been seeing a lot of news stories about neighborhoods that have not seen a plow. They've not seen shovels. They've not seen anything. And they showed on News 7, I saw Felicia Ashley's been doing a lot of reports, and she did one where a woman had to miss her dialysis appointments because they didn't do a good job clearing the sidewalks of her apartment complex. They showed the path that leads to the apartment was cleared, but everything else was snow and ice. And not only that, the woman uses a wheelchair, so she has to be carried to get around there. Like she doesn't have full mobility, and that's dangerous for her. So she can't make her dialysis appointments. That's dangerous to her too. They don't care, and it's such. I'm originally from Buffalo. I've met you before. From Buffalo, New York. And this Buffalo, New York will probably look at the snow we have and laugh, because in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much snow. Like compared to Buffalo, it's not much snow. But Buffalo would clean those streets up. I'm sorry if you're from Buffalo, if you still live in Buffalo. If it's otherwise, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. But from what I remember, when I lived in Buffalo, they would there was no such. I mean, we get snow days, but the snow that we have in the DC area, they would tell us, "Get your butt to work, leave out, get your butt to work." That's nothing. But my winter weather motion skills, my walking, and I haven't driven a car in years. I've not driven in years. So my winter driving skills would be garbage. My maneuvering through winter as a pedestrian using public transportation, they're garbage. And that's why, and like, winter should be a time of hibernation. Winter should be a time of rest. But they try to make people keep moving around as if it's business as usual. And I can't keep doing that to myself. And like with me getting groceries, like I can't keep doing this myself. And the things I said yesterday, that if I felt I could not make it out of my apartment, then I would turn back around, go home, and work from home. Even my boss said I could do that. But for some reason, stubbornness, I don't know, I kept going. And I feel there's a lot of burden on me. I'm the one who fixes things. I'm the one who does everything right. I'm the one who is responsible. I'm the one who does as she's told. And I'm tired. I'm tired. And in one of the videos that Alicia Renese had on her page that I watched earlier, she made some good quotes. And I wrote them down and I posted, because the older I get, the less reliable my memory is. One of them she said was, inspiration comes when you do rest. And another she said was, it's good for you just to be human. Yeah. And she made I didn't write this one down. Got someone dropped something upstairs. Anyway. I didn't write this one down, but she made a comment about how, I can't remember if it was in this video or another video. I think it was in the second video I watched, how they applaud our exhaustion. They do. Because there are times, even though there are times where they are lenient at work, there are other times where I feel that there's a lot of a burden put on me. And I'm juggling all these things. I keep getting all these things added to my workload. I'm juggling. And I'm trying to keep all these balls in the air, but they're starting to fall. And I can't keep up. I try, but I can't keep up. And when I made it to work today, even with dealing with snow and ice, my boss sent me a message on Teams saying I was amazing. I didn't reply to that because I just thought it was too much. But I keep doing that to myself. Who is telling me I need to go slip on snow and ice to get to work? Who is telling me that I need to lug all these groceries from the grocery store? Who is telling me that when I'm feeling really sick, that I need to get up and go to work regardless? Yeah, this is, if my mother is watching, she's going to freak out when she hears this. But yeah, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I woke up in the middle of the night with really bad cramps. I started feeling really hot. And this is maybe 3 in the morning that night. And I started feeling really hot and my vision started to blur. And I remember looking at a reflection in the bathroom mirror and I saw my eyes go in the back of my head. I fell over backwards and landed in the bathtub. I was stunned for a moment, but I knocked all the things that were on the bathtub. They all fell into the tub. And one of them was a bottle of shampoo which broke. One of those little bottles of clear shampoo, which I have been struggling to find a replacement for. And I picked myself up. Instead of cleaning all that stuff up, I got back in bed. And instead of saying, let my boss know I didn't feel well, I was going to stay home that day, I got up, put on a pain patch, put a pain patch on my pelvic area for to help with the cramps, took some pain medication, and went to work. I went to work. And I have plenty of sick leave. And when I have doctor's appointments, I definitely use a sick leave. I'll take a full day off for doctor's appointments. But for some reason, I can't call in and say, I don't feel well, I'm staying home today. And I keep wondering, why do I keep doing this to myself? The only person making me do this is myself. I should not have to burn myself out for a job. No job is important. Nothing is that important. My health comes first. And I was journaling one time. I normally don't share our journal, but I said I wrote in one of my entries that if I don't change my ways, I'm not going to live to see 50. I turned 45 this year, but if I don't change my ways, I'm not going to see 50. And I don't know why I keep doing this myself. And I was thinking about how even though I've done a lot of healing over the years, I've been in a lot of therapy, and I've developed my self-worth, my voice, and I've learned to tell people, no, I'm not doing that, etc., etc. There's still parts of me that succumb to things like that. And I was thinking about how it's likely residual stuff from my childhood. How at home, if I had an opinion different from the family, I'd be told to shut up. Shush, talk too much. Get picked on in school, told I was a loser, told I was ugly, told I didn't deserve things, get laughed at, picked on, teased. I've been physically attacked, I've been abused. And there's that residual part in the back of my head, as bold as I am. Like I did that video talking about how I had to start believing in myself and being the one who's speaking up for myself and believing in myself because the rest of the world wouldn't, and a lot of them don't. Even with all that, there's still that little part of me, the back of my head, telling me I don't deserve better things. I don't deserve rest. I don't deserve to treat myself with respect. I don't deserve anything. There's that ignorant voice in the back of my head telling me all these things. And I still to this day am working. Still to this day I'm working on getting past that. And I'm tired. I can't deal with this. It's like, I can't keep doing this myself. And I refuse to keep doing this myself. The things I did do right today, slowing down, not rushing, knowing I'm not going to rush to get to work. I'm not risking my slipping on ice for a job. That was good. Me texting my boss saying I'm working from home again tomorrow because I don't want to risk going outside again. I'd rather be safe than sorry. That was good. Me not walking 10 minutes from certain bus stops to get to work or to get to wherever, and waiting and taking the bus and risking being late, doing that instead. That was me putting myself first. But it's so few and far in between, and I need to and saying to that woman that I did not have the headspace to talk. That was another way I put myself first. So I do recognize the ways I did put myself first and my needs first. And I'm capable of telling people no. I'm capable. So I don't know why I regress like that and act like I can't say no. Act like I can't put myself first. Act like I can't rest. Act like I can't relax. And I know I need to get back into therapy. I definitely do, because I don't want to keep undoing all the hard work I've done. The last therapist I had, she was great. She retired, unfortunately, but I liked working with her. And that was almost, oh my God, almost a year or two ago. Wow. Yeah, I definitely need to get back, but yeah. Breathe in, breathe out. But I'm in for the weekend. I'm working from home tomorrow because, as I said, I'm not going back out on that snow and ice tomorrow. I'm not going back out until those sidewalks are safe and clear. And I'm going to slow down. And like, I was also thinking about how people demand so much of me at the office. And I'm learning to prioritize, because I've always known that people's urgency is not my urgency. And that's how 9 times out of 10, the thing that, oh God, I need this right away. I needed this yesterday. I need it right now. Where is this? Where is it? I need it right now. You haven't done this yet. Their urgency is not my urgency. And I have been good about that. I don't rush myself because someone is snapping at me, going PDQ, ASAP. No. And another thing, like this crummy apartment, oh my God, the rent went up $108. Or it's going to go up $108 once my lease renews. And they automatically renew the lease. Oh my God, this place is horrible. I can hear everything going on in here. And like, there's so many problems living here. I'm like, how can you justify raising the rent every year when the same problems happen? Lipstick on a pig, I swear. This lipstick on a pig. Goodness gracious. In my head, I know I deserve better. I deserve to rest. I deserve to live somewhere where I can feel at peace. I deserve a lot of things that I just don't want to get into in this video right now, that I'm not at a point where I can talk too freely about right now. But I need to start. It's one thing to know that I deserve better. It's another to start acting like I deserve better. And it'll happen in due time. If you have liked this video and you want to hear more from me, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Take care, folks. Have a good night and stay safe.